for Riel. It's Wednesday and that makes us happy because we get to share the news and a gorgeous accompanying ride from our friends and charity partners at Heartprint. Heartprint is one of the charities we've been able to support with our YouTube earnings. Here's the total we've donated since we became monetised. One of the main things Heartprint does is to build houses and toilet facilities for some of the poorest families in Siem Reap province. Here are some photos of their recent builds. They also have a cafe near Sa Kraum where you can pop in for a delicious meal or snack. I'll leave a link to the location. Wherever you're watching from, thank you for being here and please remember to like and subscribe. Your support helps us to donate more. Today is Wednesday the 12th of October and in this episode we'll look at the impact of the typhoon and associated flooding. There are a lot of things out there that can hurt you, so take care. We'll also look at the mass cleanup that's currently sweeping through Sihanoukville. The Kampot tourist port has been completed. It will play an important role in sea tourism between Cambodia and neighbouring countries. It is located about 6 kilometres from Kampot city, at the end of the road that goes along the river out to the salt fields. Construction has taken just 4 years. The port has a wharf of more than 123 metres in length and is more than 11 metres wide. It also includes restaurants, garbage collection facilities, technical buildings, public bathrooms, reservoirs, ponds and other facilities. Currently, only smaller boats with a capacity of 400 passengers are able to dock. In order for large tourist cruise ships to dock, further deepening of the port is required. Not to be outdone by the port construction, a replica of the Independence Monument is to be built in Battambang province. Although Battambang does not have ancient temples, an ocean or dense forests, it is a popular destination among tourists, especially during Chumben, which usually sees the province draw more tourists than Siem Reap or Sihanoukville. Also, the replica is the first step in the provincial administration's plan to enhance tourism. Replicas have already been built in 10 other provinces, so it seems only fair that Battambang would get one too. In Siem Reap, the president of the Siem Reap Tourism Club said that the modern pagodas are of interest to tourists in addition to the country's ancient temples. The kingdom is beginning to see an influx of international tourists, especially in Siem Reap. Currently, Siem Reap International Airport receives 10 to 12 flights a day, and that's an increase of about 20 to 25% compared to 2019. More than 100,000 vehicles, though, have travelled on Cambodia's first ever expressway in the first 9 days of opening for its trial use. From October the 1st to the 9th, the total traffic volume on the Phnom Penh to Sihanoukville Expressway was 118,376, with a daily traffic volume of about 13,000. With 2 lanes for traffic in each direction, plus an emergency lane on each side, vehicles will be able to travel between Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville in just 2 hours, which is fantastic. 8 ministries are pushing for the drafting of a sub-decree on drone management, for which there is no current law, in order to protect national security and public order in the country. 40 reviews of the draft sub-decree had been provided by the Legislative Council and relevant units under the Ministry of Interior, but there is still no official decision. Just a reminder though, don't fly drones over Angkor Wat or your drone will be taken and you will have to pay a fine. Now to a health alert. The Ministry of Health said that 4 kinds of Indian-made cough syrup medicines which have been banned by the World Health Organization after they caused scores of deaths in the Gambia earlier this month are not registered with the ministry for sale or distribution in Cambodia. But that doesn't mean they aren't in the country. On the 5th of October, the WHO said that substandard or contaminated paediatric medicines were recently distributed in Africa, including the Gambia. The 4 products are promethazine oral solution, Cofamaxilin baby cough syrup, Makeoff baby cough syrup, and Maggrip and cold syrup. Citing the WHO, media reports have stated that these cough syrups were involved in the deaths of 66 children in the Gambia. As many as 1,500 foreigners are awaiting deportation at Pria Sihanouk province, according to the National Committee for Counter-Trafficking. The committee has appealed to the public and authorities concerned to continue to fully cooperate in its campaign against all forms of human trafficking and crack down on all forms of illegal gambling, as well as campaigns to inspect foreigners aimed at assisting the government to build a safe and secure society. Pria Sihanouk's provincial governor yesterday set out a number of measures to intensify the search to identify the sites of suspected human trafficking, torture and prostitution dens based on complaints received. He urged the military authorities to conduct systematic monitoring to ensure that illegal online gambling offenders do not re-emerge or promote new online gambling. The provincial administration has issued guidelines on the management of casinos, hotels, restaurants, condominiums and other business owners outlining some of the changes and requirements. The provincial administration has observed that after obtaining licences, some businesses have not notified the opening of their business and have not yet given details of their business location. Some locations were fenced off, making it difficult for authorities to inspect them, which in turn helps perpetrators commit crimes, such as detaining migrant workers for human trafficking, prostitution and other crimes. Casino operators in Praia Sihanoukville province have been described as a recalcitrant lot, refusing to obey rules and regulations. This has made it difficult for the administration to control and curb crime in the casinos. The Praia Sihanoukville administration now hopes to change all this in a bid to clean up its image as a hotspot for human trafficking. New rules in place include casino owners are no longer allowed to keep the passport, identification card or working permit of any staff. Casino owners are no longer allowed to hide their location or operate with high fences. Casino owners can no longer ban their staff from going out of the casino. Casino owners will face legal action if they go against any of these rules. There are currently 68 casinos in the province and a database has been set up to compile information about them, the owners, the landlords and their staff. Moving on. These people must have been really hammered. A group of revellers have alleged that they were beaten by staff at Zoom nightclub in Phnom Penh. The victims said that a security guard at the club, armed with sledgehammers and assorted weapons, had beaten and dragged them out of the premises following an altercation between them and another group. After the victims complained to local police, authorities sought security recording of the incident but were told that the relevant footage had disappeared. All 3 injured youths are currently being held in custody at the police station, while the club's security guards have been detained for questioning at the police station as well. A drug user will take his own special trip to a magical kingdom after being arrested by Phnom Penh police. He was arrested for being in possession of 12 packages suspected to be ice and for his terrible dress sense. A foreigner had a rude awakening when he discovered that a crafty burglar had stolen a phone and $800 in cash from him while he slept in an apartment in Siem Reap. Police say that the thief stole a black Huawei 10 Plus mobile phone and $800 in cash from the 36-year-old foreign national. Investigations are ongoing. Police were forced to chase a driver into a nearby condo after he fled after injuring 2 men in a car accident last night. The incident took place in Phnom Penh's Sen Sok district. According to sources at the scene, before the incident, a man was seen driving a black BMW in a southerly direction. He turned left, crossed the road at high speed and collided with a red XR motorcycle. The 2 men on the bike were seriously injured. The driver then fled into a nearby condo where he was detained by police who chased him on foot into the building. Another driver, believed to be intoxicated, came to an abrupt halt on Sunday night after he smashed into a road divider. Sources from the scene said that before the incident they saw a black Camry car driven by a man suspected of being drunk travelling along National Road 2 in the direction from south to north at high speed. When he arrived at the scene, the driver lost control of the vehicle and smashed into a concrete road divider with the inevitable consequence of severe damage to both the vehicle and the innocent divider. The death toll from Typhoon Noru and related flooding is now at 16. It has rained hard in the mountain areas and highlands of the north and northwest of Cambodia, where thousands of houses have been submerged and many roads have been damaged. Authorities are continuing to evacuate the most vulnerable. The Ministry of Health has warned that people must exercise caution as floods can contribute to waterborne illness. People are urged to take care as untreated water can cause serious conditions such as cholera, diarrhea, typhoid, hepatitis, gastroenteritis, scabies and worm infections. Besides waterborne illness, numerous ailments such as respiratory tract infections or COVID-19 infections may arise because of the flooding. Members of the public are urged to wear masks and sleep under mosquito nets to avoid diseases like malaria, dengue and chikungunya, as mosquito-related diseases are also rising because of the wet season and flooding. But water and mosquito-borne diseases are not the only thing you need to worry about. In the first 9 months of this year, 395 people have been bitten by venomous snakes, a problem exacerbated by floods in the rainy season. Fortunately, there have been no fatalities. Most of the bites were from relatively harmless snakes, such as blue-eyed and sea snakes, while other victims were bitten by the more dangerous types, such as cobras, yellow and red snakes. Treating a patient requires 2 to 5 bottles of antivenom, but in severe cases, up to 16 bottles might be used. Antivenom is very expensive, and if somebody is bitten by a snake, they must go to a hospital for treatment, as the antivenoms are not kept at other facilities. As if snake bites weren't bad enough, the Ministry of Agriculture yesterday called on crocodile farmers to be more vigilant about security to prevent the reptiles from escaping into the river during flooding. Crocodile farmers across the country are required to regularly check the durability of nets used as enclosures or to doubly reinforce them. There are over 700 crocodile farms across the country, and Siem Reap province has the most with over 400. Let's end today's news with something positive. The government has decided to extend its cash subsidy for the poor program called ID Poor. The move will benefit some 700,000 families or 3 million people in the country. Prime Minister Hun Sen said many families have yet to recover from the impact of COVID-19 and are continuing to struggle. The program will continue for at least another year, and if it is to end, support will be gradually decreased over time rather than cutting all support at once. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you once again to Heartprint for providing today's ride. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon.